Have you ever had that moment, standing in your kitchen or maybe sitting in your car in the parking lot after work or after gym, when suddenly this thought hits you? Is this it? Is this all there is for the rest of my life? Or maybe you've looked in the mirror and wondered when exactly you started to feel invisible in a world that seems to only value youth and beauty and novelty and glamour. Well, I'm Beryl, and today I want to talk to you about something that so many women experience, but very few discuss openly. And that is the profound transition that happens in midlife, when everything we thought we knew about ourselves and our place in the world starts to shift. Basically, nothing prepares us for this experience. There's no manual and no warning. Let me share some of the things that I hear from women in their 40s, their 50s, and way beyond that. Is things like, I've spent decades taking care of everyone else, my kids, my partner, my aging parents, my team at work. I don't even know who I am outside of those roles anymore. And we kind of become so defined by those roles. Or I should be grateful for everything I have, but I feel this restlessness and this sense that something's missing. Or I've accomplished so much, but suddenly none of it feels meaningful the way it once did. And kind of like, what was it all about? Why did I do all of those things all of those years? Or the kids don't need me the same way, my body is changing, sometimes I feel like I'm disappearing, no one notices me anymore. Well, if any of these thoughts resonate with you, I want you to know you're not alone, you're not selfish, you're not having a crisis. What you're experiencing is actually a natural, powerful transition that doesn't get nearly enough attention or respect in our society. At this age, midlife, another thing occurs, and that is usually the gradual loss of our previous generation. We usually have to deal with frail or ailing parents and other family members, and at the same time we are usually going through children leaving home, like ours, basically one step out of the door, or maybe the breakdown of a marriage or changes in our relationships. In fact, I find a lot of my friends are getting divorced at the moment and weird things are happening. In the last few years, what happened to me was my special aunt passed away and then my dad. And I felt completely numb, sort of in a shell-shocked state. Not only had I lost two of my most favorite people in the world who'd always championed me along and encouraged me, but the realization of my own mortality hit me. And I realized that it's now or never to make any changes in my life. And it took some time, but I emerged positive and feeling more powerful than I ever have before, with a new sense of purpose and excitement. Here's what I've discovered both through my own journey and through connecting with hundreds of women navigating similar terrain, is that this midlife transition isn't about fading away, it's about finally coming into your own. Think about it, you've gained decades of wisdom. You've developed incredible strengths through all the roles you've played. And you know what you value and what you don't. And you have a clearer picture of what you will accept and what you won't. You have clearer boundaries and you less likely care about what others think of you anymore. In many ways, you're more equipped now than ever before to create a life that truly resonates with you and who you are. But society doesn't give us a roadmap for this part of the journey. There's no guidance for how to reconnect with ourselves after years of putting everyone else first. No manual for reinventing your identity when the roles that defined you for decades begin to shift. That's why so many women feel lost during this transition. Not because there's something wrong with them, but because we collectively don't honor this passage the way we should. And also because perhaps in the past women didn't live as long as we are these days. But what if we looked at midlife differently? What if instead of seeing it as a decline, we recognize it as a powerful threshold, a doorway to perhaps the most authentic chapter of our lives. I've witnessed incredible transformations in women who have navigated this passage, and they're women such as, obviously, the stereotypes that come with this stage of life, like the empty nester who finally started the creative business she'd been dreaming about for 20 years, or the corporate executive who reclaimed her health and discovered a passion for supporting other women, or the newly divorced woman who rebuilt her identity and created a community that brings her joy and support. And these women aren't exceptional because they did something extraordinary. They're exceptional because they listened to that voice inside of them that said, there's more. And they had the courage to follow it. So I realized that I wanted to really find my own purpose and to do something more meaningful. I wanted to travel more, spend time with my friends and family, and be more free than being tied to my business that I loved. But it had got to the stage that I either had to expand on a large scale or not. And I realized that I didn't want to spend the next chapter working myself to death, and that I wanted to travel more and be able to work from wherever I was in the world, and I wanted freedom and I wanted purpose. So the truth is that midlife isn't about having all the answers. It's about being brave enough to ask different questions. Questions like, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? What brings me genuine joy and fulfillment? And what stories am I telling myself that might not be true? Maybe I should change the narrative a little bit. And what would it look like to finally put myself on my own priority list? That's a good question. So I'm sharing these thoughts because I believe we need to change the conversation around women in midlife. And we need to create spaces where we can be honest about both the challenges and the incredible opportunities of this season. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments below about your midlife journey or anything that's on your mind at the moment. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one.